from broadcaster to platform, reinventing media in the streaming age. I am the CEO of 24i. Have the pleasure of moderating this panel.
I'm Pedro. I'm Deputy Director of Digital Service from RTP, the Portuguese public broadcaster.
I'm João. I am Director of Commercial Partnerships for Synamedia Senza.
I'm Kasia. I'm Director of Digital and On Demand at BBC Studios EMEA region.
I'm Sarah Milton. I'm the Chief Product Officer at Everyone TV.
Hugo Raimundo. I'm Head of Architecture Engineering at Sky.
What does a platform mean to you?
Needs to be more about not the technology we're using, not the way we're using that technology, but actually how we structure that platform. Where are we taking the decisions? Where do we can fine-tune the experience, can control the advertising, the content distribution, the monetization, all of that.
Audiences don't really think in terms of platforms or products or aggregators or destinations. They just look for an experience that makes it as simple as possible for them to find what they want to watch.
We look at ourselves more as a multi-ecosystem, multi-platform operator.
So if you take it from a perspective of who owns the user, what we are finding now is actually a complexity of an aggregator within an aggregator kind of things. So very complex. To me, there is a unclear definition. I don't think anyone in this room can say that I am the owner of the user, I am the platform, but everybody wants to be, that's for sure.
For us, the platform, it's very important because it's a connection that we have with directly with the user.
One of the big issues that we have in our industry, everybody has, content is not the issue. I think we probably have more than enough. Platforms aren't the issue. I think we all have more than enough. Data is probably not the issue. We also have more than enough. And perhaps the issue is nothing really connects with each other.
Running an OTT platform or a streaming service, we need a different level of metadata, and for the content to be discoverable, that is essential.
So powering the experience. Maybe Sarah, you are in a unique position. You're sort of an aggregator yourself. You're aggregating different services, different pieces of content. What's important to you when you think about connecting the content, the audience, or the data about the audience?
The UX just needs to get out of the way and let them go where they want to go. Other times, maybe there is space for more curation or more discovery. And again, in that case, it's about trying to, ultimately, it's about getting a viewer from turning on the TV to watching something as quick as possible. And absolutely, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but starting to think about how you introduce more natural conversational ways of search and discovery into the experience as well.
Mm-hmm. We need to find ways to harness that data and kind of personalize the experience to those things and take these in consideration. The back of that is absolutely, as this conversation started, data. Okay, and how do we get that data? And this is still a challenge in the industry, I would say.
At BBC Studios, you're distributing through so many different channels. I can imagine sometimes it's quite mind-blowing, the data that comes back and how you explain what's happening on other people's platforms.
Yeah. We don't control those platforms, yet we have to figure out how to be able to be in control or monetizing. So a huge part of this is obviously getting our hands on data. That probably is one of the biggest constraints at the moment. But we are building an enterprise-level data platform within BBC Studios. So we are collecting all that imperfect data and trying to turn it into actionable insights, be it through, triangulations, be it through proxies. We are building AI-driven forecasts.
If you think about the future of what each one of you are doing right now with AI in your platform on the consumer side.
Anything to do with the thumbnail creation, even at the level of A/B testing, where it's much easier with the help of AI to identify the best artwork, which we should be using. Definitely metadata translation, that's kind of quite a basic level of translation. Hopefully someday dubbing as well and subbing, but this is still, we're still very cautious about it because of the quality necessary of the voice, because of the also ethical elements of this, how the sort of studios are training the voices. Data, definitely extremely important in helping us to create dashboards, helping, as I said, to develop the forecasting models.
Sometimes companies tend to, when they are in a little bit of struggle or problems, try to do more. It's like an instinct. But I think in this time, it's not to do more, but to do better. The objective is not win, but it's continue to grow and continue to exist.
Do you have a sort of a shared view from your perspective, Hugo?
So you need to modernize your technology stack, you need to invest in it, you need to change, you need apps, you need to go to the cloud. All that is fine, because that works towards modernization, right? Reliability, availability, exposure. But you really need to focus on how you structure what you're using, how those things interconnect with themselves. We were talking earlier, you can use all these platforms, but you need to create a platform that works for you and for your business.
As long as you reinvent yourself, you stay in the game, you keep an eye on your content, on your brands, I think the broadcast will be fine and will find its way to new technologies and will continue.
What's the biggest focus for the platforms and experiences?
The platform will be an agent in the future. It's easy to understand.
To envision that, yeah.
And an agent that understands completely the content and can discuss with you the content. And you can say, look, I'm not understanding this scene. And the agent explains you, look, this character did this and that and that. So the platform, it's a companion that gives you entertainment, gives you news, gives you a lot of things, and it's seamless.
The thing that we should most think about is the user and how the user experience with the technology, screens in general, is not being educated by the TV anymore. It's being driven by how people interact with their tablets, with their mobile phones.
We continue building our digital footprint, expanding partnerships, be it distribution or ad sales. The latest quite interesting deal we've just done is development of player for in-flight entertainment with Panasonic. That's a very new sort of initiative. Plus, obviously, the big sort of partnership we're building, it's actually my colleague here, is the YouTube partnership.
Mm-hmm.
I think broadcasters, remembering that their content is still incredibly popular, it's the most watched content in the UK. The problem is not demand, it's discoverability. And part of that is going where the audience is. So yes, there's a role to play for YouTube and the other social media platforms, but not depending on them solely as your future, because that feels like a very fragile position to be as a broadcaster. So be bold, position yourself, as a good partner, great partnerships, collaboration, and sort of build your own future.
One is how to create an experience that works across this multiple screen kind of ecosystem we are now, where you can see something in your TV while interacting with it with your phone, and when you move the vision, you continue seeing the content, and things that you get are related to that. That is a big challenge. The other one is how actually we can do that with technology, right? Because that's my job, and that is going to be a challenge.
We've got a ton of content. We've got a lot of different distribution vehicles that we get this content out there on. We have growing audience for all sorts of sizes of content, short form, long form. Let's work together on the connections. Let's work together on connecting all of those platforms, all of those data points to produce a better media future. All right. Thank you with that to all of you.